still of night, where shadows creep. Dan and Norm guide us, no secrets to keep. Through the ancient woods, where lost souls sigh, Bigfoot watches from the depths, lurking nearby. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. Echoes of laughter from realms out of sight. Ghostly apparitions dance in the pale moonlight. In haunted halls where shadows entwine, Dan and Norm lead us through the veil of time. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. Through fog and fear we venture deep into ancient mysteries where secrets sleep. With every heartbeat we draw near to enigmas hidden in the atmosphere. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. So hold on tight as we drift away. Dan and Norm will return another day. In dreams we'll wander where shadows roam free. At the gateway to the unknown, come explore with me. As echoes linger in the night's embrace, ancient mysteries whisper, they leave a trace. With every thought that fades into dark, the gateway awaits, it ignites a spark.
In this episode, we're diving into the uncanny world of cryptids captured on film, photos that purportedly show these elusive beings that lurk just beyond everyday vision. We're talking about mysterious creatures that seemingly appear in the frame, shadowy, inexplicable, and occasionally spectacularly weird, in the corners of forests, lakes, swamps, and even suburban backyards. From grainy night vision shots of something upright and hairy, to daily photos of odd bipedal forms stepping into the light, these images tug at the boundary between what we know and what we feel. What happens when a regular person points a camera and freezes something strange in its path? Could these be hoaxes, misidentifications, or glimpses of something genuinely unknown? And if one ordinary person can take an amateur photo of a cryptid, what's to stop another from slipping into that lens?
Welcome to the Gateway to the Unknown podcast. I'm Dan Hageman.
And I'm Norm Domek. And today we're exploring cryptids and paranormal photography, those blurry, uncanny images that hint at something wild and maybe just real.
We'll share real-life experiences, dig into how and why people claim to capture these creatures, explore the conspiracy potential, examine scientific angles, and even peek at the cultural ripple effect.
So whether you believe every cryptid image is a hoax or you think some of them might be a final breakthrough, buckle up because we're poking around the woods today.
The big hairy guy.
The big hairy guy.
Cryptids in general are something that people are seeing worldwide. These cryptids go back millennium. The ancients claim to have had encounters with these cryptids. And it's a phenomenon in itself. I think that they're undocumented species that our government doesn't want to acknowledge. And so therefore they keep it hidden and under wraps.
Yeah. Do you think the government knows more than it lets on?
Oh, absolutely. If these are interdimensional beings or creatures that were experiments that went awry, or is it something that the government is well aware of and concocted them in a lab, so to speak? But absolutely, the government knows more than what they're letting on.
Well, I know we have some examples.
Yeah, in 1967, at Bluff Creek, California, the infamous Patterson gimbal film that captured a bipedal hairy figure walking upright along a creek bed. There's a lot of controversy over that film clip of a female Bigfoot. You can actually see her mammary glands. You can see the muscles as she's walking away from the researchers or Patterson and Gimlin. You could actually see the bulk and the muscles, in her arms and legs. There's been a lot of controversy that it wasn't a person in a gorilla suit or a Bigfoot suit, that it was actually a creature of unknown origin. Another one that happened in 2007, a CCTV camera in San Fresno, California, recorded a tall, white, long-legged figure, later dubbed as the Fresno Nightcrawler, walking across the frame. And this creature or cryptid seen several places. People claim that they see it in the national forests across the United States and globally. Another one that's a big one in the swamps of Louisiana. This took place in 1963. And there have been repeated sightings up until today. In 1963, retired air traffic controller Harlan Ford claimed to photograph a hairy 7-foot-tall creature with glowing eyes on the edge of the bayou. They often attributed it to the Honey Island swamp monster. In November of 1966, near Point Pleasant, West Virginia, two couples reported seeing a winged, red-eyed humanoid creature near numerous munitions plants that the military had operated on prior to and during World War II. The creature was later polarized as the Mothman, and a well-known creature. A lot of traumatic experiences, a lot of devastation, destruction associated with sightings of the Mothman in the area that we live near Butler, Pennsylvania. There's a small community. It's called Shakura, PA, north of Butler. We had a prominent individual, a businessman, ex-military, held very high security clearances. On his way to Butler one morning, he had an encounter with a winged creature. We interviewed several people that had witnessed this creature and talked to each and every one of them. And I said, if you could name this creature in as few words as possible, what would you name this creature? And every single one of them referred to it as a gargoyle type creature. Okay. So as a result, we deemed it the Shakura gargoyle. For our listeners, if you have access to the internet, you can type in Shakura gargoyle and you'll get to see artist renditions of what the creature was reported to look like. Some of the reports that I personally investigated are absolutely terrifying and frightening. Is it the same thing as the Mothman creature? That remains to be seen. Is it an interdimensional creature? Your guess is as good as mine, but the creature is very elusive and has been seen on multiple occasions, not only in our area, throughout the tri-state area in New York. It's been seen in Ohio. It's been seen in Canada. It's been seen all up and down along the East Coast. People are definitely seeing something. Another one, I'm sorry, go ahead, Norm.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or any other platform, check out our YouTube channel. We'll have a link in the bio, and you can see some of the pictures we're talking about. So you can watch this podcast on YouTube. We always put some pictures up, or at least the podcast episode number. So check us out on YouTube as well, if you want to look at this experience as well as listen to it.
Another one is in the late 1980s, there was a car damage case in Bishop, South Carolina. A teenager reported a green-scaled, red-eyed lizard man. The legend of the lizard man, sharp claws, and it did a lot of damage to the body of the car. It cut deep grooves or gouges into the metal of the vehicle. The visual descriptions are one thing, but the photographs of the aftermath, and again, you can look those up online, are absolutely horrifying. Another one is a community compiled site. Cryptid photographs on Fandom lists dozens of alleged photographic creatures from around the world, some marked as presumed authentic, others marked as unknown hoaxes. To be honest with you, Fandom, I'm not familiar with that. There are a multitude of different types of cryptids. For those of you that are interested and you want to see what some of these things look like, check that site out, Fandom. You'll get to see photographs, some authentic, some, from what I gather, are hoaxed. Norm, I have to ask you, do you think camera technology helps confirm or complicate cryptid sightings?
Well, I think it would help confirm if it's a clear picture. Most of the time, it's not. Why can we not get clear pictures a lot of the time? Is there something emanating off of it, a frequency that changes it visually? I've heard that some of the cryptids have almost clear tube-like hairs that bend the light. So I would say it could confirm it, but at the same time complicate it depending on the lighting conditions. And some of the pictures that are put up there, it's a picture of the woods, and it's, look at this, and you're looking around trying to find something, Bigfoot peeking around a tree, and you still can't see anything. Even if they circle it, you still can't see it. So I don't know if sometimes people are out there playing games with the people who do believe. With today's day and age and all these cameras as good as they are on cell phones, if you can get a picture, if you're not scared, if you're not taken in the moment, if you can remember to get your picture, I think that they should come out okay, I think. You would think.
I know, having a background in photography myself, with today's technology, everybody has a cell phone, and every cell phone has a camera on it. When you take digital photography over film photography, you can get spectacular images. I still prefer film. There's less likelihood of being able to portray a hoax if you're using film. Digital, you're able to manipulate it more, and you're going to have people out there that want to hoax these images for whatever reason, if it's a monetary reason or fame and glamour. It happens, and it's sad. There are a lot of good photographs out there. I could never understand why when they post these images, it's always a blurry image.
Yeah.
The technology exists that you can see the mint stamp on a dime laying on the street here on Earth. You can read the headlines of your local newspaper from space. So come on, let's put some clear pictures out there. Is our government suppressing this information? They don't want us to know. We're all big boys. We're all big girls. We can handle it. If it's an undocumented species, it's time to document it. They're out there. They're real. I myself have had personal out camping in the Allegheny National Forest with unknown creatures, Bigfoot, possibly Dogman. They're there. They exist. They are real.
I thought you were going to say you have experiences out in the wilderness with big girls. That's where I thought you were going with that conversation.
I think I'll pass on the big girls, but
if you could take pictures of any kind of cryptid, Bigfoot, Nessie, Mothman, Dogman, Lizard Man, Goat Man, if you could take a clear picture of any of them, which one would you choose to get a good picture of?
If I had to pick one, based on my background and interest in the paranormal and cryptozoology, it's hard for me to narrow it down and pick just one. I would like to capture all of them. If I had to pick one, I'm going to say Bigfoot would be the number one for me.
Okay.
How about you, Norm?
If I could get close enough to get a good picture of Bigfoot, I would do Bigfoot as well. There are stories of people having conversations or interactions with Bigfoot, sharing a candy bar and that type of thing, having a cup of coffee. They're drinking coffee, they give it to Bigfoot, he or she tries it and they don't like it and spit it out. There's all kinds of stories out there that have those kind of interactions. I would rather have that kind of interaction than have a clear photo. If I had the choice, I would have the interaction.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. Rather have the interaction as well. Might not like the end result. You might be on the menu for dinner or lunch. It would truly be an encounter, an experience that I don't think I would pass up. when you view a cryptid photo, how much of your reaction is cool, mystery versus I'm being fooled?
I think it would be based on the source. Now, we've got a mutual friend of ours, Denny Viglo, who has all kinds of pictures. I believe him 100%. You and I have walked in the woods with him for hours on several occasions. I believe him. He has pictures of what look like fairies above his house caught on his security camera. He's got pictures of droppings in the woods that are huge. To look at the picture of it, okay, it looks like dog poop, but it's like 4 foot long. What makes that? It's bigger than elephant poop. So, and it's not photoshopped. What is it?
Denny has gathered samples up and has sent it out and had it tested, and they couldn't determine what animal or species it came from. He's had hair samples that he has sent out and had analyzed, and it's come back unknown species. So that right there tells you that there's something up there roaming the Allegheny National Forest, and not just the Allegheny National Forest. These things are worldwide. We've been up there, walked the woods with Denny. That's where I had my Bigfoot encounter. Photographed foot tracks that are non-human, a longer than 4 foot stride between the right and left footfall. The footfalls are in a straight line. It's not right, left like you would associate with a human being. Every time I've gone up to Kinzu, I've come home with more questions than answers. And we're talking everything from portals to possibly a prehistoric creature.
And last time you and I were up there, I don't know if you believe this or not, it was over 2 years ago at this point.
Has it been that long?
It has been that long. It was 2 years when we went up
Wow.
and we were looking, and I have pictures that have not been shown to anybody. You saw them. Denny saw them. Pictures, I want to say the footprints, I took the pictures of 17 inches long, and they were about 5 inches wide, I believe. I've got the pictures. I have them. I haven't published anywhere. They haven't been circulated anywhere. But I'll tell you what, I'll put them on here. I'll put them on the screen behind us here.
Well, I know there was a time I was up with Denny. We were going to go through a drive-through fast food restaurant and grab a bite to eat, and we were going to get back and do some more hiking. Where we had our campsite set up, we had to go past multiple campsites. This one campsite, which was not very far from where we were, absolutely, totally devastated. Very, very expensive camping equipment. One of the tents looked shredded to pieces. You could tell that the people there left in a hurry. There were picnic coolers full of food. There was a huge package of hamburger that had been opened as if they were going to start preparing a meal, and it was left unscathed. That open hamburger sitting out in the open air, a bear would smell that meat for miles. Nothing touched it. Absolutely nothing. There was a woman's pocketbook there. Her wallet was in it. Car keys were in it.
Wow.
There were credit cards and money in it. And there was a dining tent. It was probably big enough for 10, 12 people. Give you perspective on how big this tent was. There were cases of pop and a couple cases of beer and jugs of water and everything just left. Denny and I took several pictures, and we left and reported it at the ranger station. Then we went to the sheriff's department and reported it. From there, we went through, and it was probably no more than 40 minutes that we were initially there, left, and then came back. We had to go to get back to our campsite. When we came back, it was like no one had ever been there.
Oh, wow.
Totally cleaned up. And then he inquired, what happened to all the camping? And till this day, we've never gotten an answer. So what's going on? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I don't know if you're familiar with the series Missing 411. It's a series, David Paulides. The amount of people that go missing in our national forests across the country are absolutely mind-boggling and staggering. We're talking everything from infants to the very elderly, gone and never heard of or seen again. For our listeners, if you're not familiar with it, it's Missing 411. If you have access to the internet, go to YouTube, and you can pull this up, listen to many of these episodes. Absolutely frightening. And Dave Paulides, he's a retired police officer as well as myself. I'm a former police officer, not retired, but Dave Politis is retired. And he's, even through the Freedom of Information Act, tried to obtain information about missing people. And our National Park Administration simply will not provide him with that information. And you have to ask why.
Yeah.
Definitely something going on.
Well, you're a former police chief. Let's talk about a short story mailbag that has been submitted to us from Rebecca. My name is Rebecca Marley, and I live in Cold Spring, New York, Putnam County. It was a crisp late October evening, about 9:15 p.m., and the air was cool in the early fall rustle, and the moon just began to peek through a thin cloud cover. I had just stepped outside on our wooden deck, pine rail, string lights still glowing, distant owls calling, when I heard a sharp crack in the woods behind my house. I grabbed my phone and pointed its flashlight and camera towards the sound. At first, nothing. Then I saw it. A tall figure, dark fur, upright between two hardwood trees, maybe about 40 foot away. The beam of the flashlight caught red glowing eyes. I snapped a picture on my camera phone, and the figure appeared to hesitate, then opaque fur and limbs, shifting it, moved slowly sideways and vanished into shadow. My heart beat faster than I'd like to admit, and I showed the photo to a friend. It was grainy but unmistakable. It had a silhouette, glowing eyes, posture upright like a human, but way too big. I felt a thrill, a jolt of maybe I caught something, and also a chill of what if it catches me next time? I still awake when I hear rustles, thinking maybe I got lucky, or maybe I just disturbed an unseen world. Either way, I can't look away, and I can't look at my backyard the same way. So, Dan, let me ask you, how would you debunk that photo? If Rebecca were to show you this photo, what would you do to investigate it?
I would examine the photo in detail. I would try to enlarge the photograph. There's a process that you can pixelate a photograph. You can literally take it apart pixel by pixel and then put it back together. If the image doesn't really change, then you know there's something there. A lot of these images, people will take a picture like you stated earlier, and there's nothing there. The mind can play tricks on you. A big thing. And you tend to put things in the picture that aren't there. This happens a lot. That would probably be where I would start. I would examine the photograph as much as I possibly could. Then I would try to enlarge it. Sometimes photographs, the smaller they are, the harder it is to pick out detail. If you can put it on a larger screen and look at it in a larger format, then you can start to see images better. Well, Norman, if Rebecca were to show you the photograph that she showed to her friend, would you believe Rebecca, or would you think that she's got too much imagination?
I think it would depend if I knew Rebecca. The source matters, right? The credibility of the source 100% matters. I like to believe everybody until I have a reason not to. If they're looking for attention or money, that's going to be pretty obvious. But if somebody says, here's a picture, I don't want my name anywhere, I don't know what I saw, I just want somebody else to see this, chances are that's real.
Now, if you were there at the time this happened, or you're a neighbor of Rebecca's, you live next door, and would you go back out that night with a camera and try to capture any of the photos, or how would you handle that?
I think I would. If Rebecca said, hey man, I got something out here, you want to come take a look? Or you go take a look, I'm staying here, I think I'd go. I would absolutely go. I had an encounter, not with a Bigfoot, in what seems to be in this case, but I had chickens. I had chickens, and I went to go and put them in, because I leave the door open, they would free range, and I'd close the door later. I just so happened, something was kind of weird. It was a weird energy in the yard, and let me count to make sure I got them all in here. I never did it before, never counted them before, but I went in, I counted, and I was one short. I'm like, okay, let me look. And I went and I looked up in the tree, because sometimes they'd jump up on the tree and stuff there or whatever. I put them down into the coop where it was locked up so the raccoons and everything else wouldn't get to them. But I went and I looked and I couldn't find this bird, and I went around to my garage, and all the way at the end, it looked like a baby deer with teeth, like a coyote. And it turned and it looked at me, and it was holding the chicken. It looked like a baby deer without the spots. It was like light tan, but it had big teeth. So I went in to the house, got a weapon, came out, and it was gone, but the chicken was still there. It was catatonic. Its eyes were open, so it wasn't sleeping, and I lifted it up and its legs just dropped. And I said, what the heck? And I took it into the roost where the other ones were, all females, all ones that lay eggs. And I couldn't put it up on the ledge where it sits because it couldn't grab the limb that I put up there. So I laid it down and kind of set it in the corner and went to check on it in the morning, and it was moving around. It was just fine, but it was catatonic when whatever that was had its arms around it. And I looked up what I thought it might be. I put in deer with teeth. I put in all these other things. What kind of animal could this be? I looked up cryptids, and it ended up, there was a picture of, it said it was a chupacabra, what they call a chupacabra. Now, I live in a pretty densely populated city area. The river is very close, and there's a lot of woods near the river. I live near the Monongahela River. We have 3 rivers in this area. I live in Pittsburgh, so we have the Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. And there's been cryptid sightings all up and down the river for many years, including Bigfoot sightings. But according to these pictures, it looked like a deer with teeth, and it was exactly what I saw, and they're calling it a chupacabra. That's probably one of my biggest experiences.
There are cases where a woman was swimming in the Ohio River. Something grabbed her by her leg and was trying to pull her under. She's thrashing around, and she managed to escape. When she got out of the water back onto the bank, she had these big gashes down her leg. And there's supposedly reports of a lizard-type creature that lives in the Ohio River. And she almost fell prey to it.
Wow, never heard that one.
A lot of the reports, the police, they'll have it on file, but they just don't talk about it. They simply will not release the information. And you would think for as many people, boaters and swimmers and people that go out to enjoy swimming, they would be more forthcoming instead of letting people possibly be in danger.
Right. We used to swim as kids every day in the Monongahela River, right underneath the Glenwood Bridge. There was a big rope swing that came off there. Every day we'd swim. That was where we went. I don't remember ever being afraid of anything or seeing anything. Saw some pretty big catfish, but never anything that was encrypted or paranormal. That wasn't on our radar. As kids, you're just fearless of anything. You might hear something in the woods and it's like, oh, did you throw something? No, okay. And you shrug it off.
Yeah, I have a few friends that they're divers. And some of the stories that I've heard them say, the catfish near the locks in the rivers of Pittsburgh are big enough they could swallow a full-grown human being in one bite. Can you imagine that? A catfish that big?
I remember my dad worked on the rivers for years on the barges. He would tell me stories and say, stay near the top. Even in the shallow, if you want to swim, stay on the top. Don't go down. Don't try to see how far down you could go. Number one, the current is down there. He said, but number two, there's fish and they're big. He said, I don't want to scare you. Just stay on top of the water.
Yeah.
He used to tell us. And now I understand why. But he didn't want us to not enjoy the water. But he had his thoughts because he would see these things. Yeah. So there's some conspiracy theories that we were talking about earlier about government agencies and concealing evidence. What do you got for us?
Oh, the government, they get the rap. Some claim that cryptid photographs are suppressed by government agencies eager to conceal evidence of unknown species or interdimensional beings. Maybe those blurry wood shots are all we're allowed to see. And it sure seems that way. There's more to it. We're not being told the full truth. Others suggest that certain cryptids are part of a bioengineering experiment or hidden military project. Maybe the beast photo wasn't wild at all, but someone is suppressing information. A theory persists that cryptids are photogenic and use photogenic friendly zones. I don't know about that. They know when the cameras are nearby, they allow themselves to be captured, but only just enough to tease us, never enough for full proof. There's rumor that the Bigfoot, they have the capability of infrasound. They can actually paralyze you, so to speak. Is it something that you see one and you go to take their photograph? They can control you to only allow you to photograph what they want. It's an interesting theory. Some believe cryptids are compartmentalized by powerful interests as tourist attractions and marketing tools. Finally, the fringe idea, cryptid photography creates alternative reality signals. The camera lens acts as the device that summons the creature. And once photographed, the creature is bound to be tracked. But anything is possible when it comes to the field of cryptozoology.
Which one sounds most plausible or fun?
As far as most plausible, I would have suppressing evidence that could conceal unknown species. To me, that seems more plausible than any of them. How about you?
I would probably say that there's more happening than we're being told. Yes, I would say that's the case. So do you think that with everything that's happening with Bigfoot and Lizard Man and Goat Man and all these cryptids, or gargoyle, if you were designing a documentary, what image would you open?
I would definitely open with Bigfoot. Bigfoot seems to be, in my book, the number one cryptid. But I'd want to cover all of it, then I would lead with Bigfoot. How about you?
I think so. I think that seems to be one, but I think it would depend on where we were and what it was about. If it's general cryptids, then yeah, we'd talk about Bigfoot would be number one. But if we were in Scotland or talking about aquatic, I would probably lead with Nessie. So I think the situation would depend, but general cryptids, yeah, Bigfoot.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry.
Do we have any alleged facts to discuss, Norm?
We do. So the term cryptid was coined in 1983 in a newsletter in the International Society of Cryptology to describe a living thing having the quality of being hidden or unknown. And some creatures that were once considered cryptids, such as the Komodo dragon, were later scientifically validated, showing that extraordinary sounding beasts can turn out to be real. So that's interesting. And then modern technology, digital cameras, night vision, trail cams, and social media, they have dramatically increased the number of claimed cryptid photographs and video captures. And also many cryptid photo databases, such as the Cryptid Photographs under Wiki, they classify images by authenticity status, presumed authentic, unknown status, or assumed hoaxes. While mainstream science regards cryptozoology as pseudoscience because it lacks rigorous hypothesis testing, the field remains culturally significant and continues to generate claimed evidence. There's evidence every day on different Facebook posts. My wife and I were camping and we saw this. So there's all kinds of stuff out there, and you can spend hours looking at these pictures that people post. Some of them are really convincing. Surveys and science outlet interviews suggest that even if proof remains elusive, the phenomenon reflects pattern recognition and camera-driven evidence sharing in human culture. So a lot of that could be talked about, and it could be people creating something that isn't there just so they can share a picture and get some notoriety. It becomes a buzz within certain groups. We have the Butler Organization for Research of the Unexplained. There's a lot of members there, hundreds of members. So if somebody has a sighting, it's like everybody's calling everybody. Did you see what was caught? Did you see what Sam caught? Did you see what Bill caught? Did you hear Bill's story? It's kind of exciting when it happens within your own community, and people will share things from other communities and bring that in. There is a lot of sharing, and I think that that's kind of a neat thing as long as it's done with an open mind.
Oh, absolutely. You have to take, and I get dozens of reports daily, 7 days a week. I don't blow anybody off. I listen to what they have to say. There's a series of questions you can ask depending on what they're calling the report. For instance, I got a call at almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'll let my answering machine get the phone, especially that time of the morning, but I went ahead and I answered it. The guy says, "Are you the UFO guy? I'm calling to report a UFO." And I said, "Well, where are you and what are you reporting on?" He said, "Well, I'm looking at it right now. Come on, come." He lived about a quarter of a mile away from where I live. I got his information and I went ahead and I went and parked the car and I get out. Come. And here, he and another guy sitting on a porch, keg of beer. And he says, "Look, there it is." They were looking at the moon. Oh. I have it documented here. It's in the filing cabinet. In most cases, people are experiencing real things, and it's very traumatic for them. I know I had a husband and wife that were both doctors. They came to every monthly meeting we had, and then all of a sudden, they just stopped coming. And I thought, well, what the heck? And then I think it was almost 4 months, she contacted me, and she said, "I want to apologize. Likely won't be coming back, and it's nothing against you. After a meeting one night, she's on her way home from work, and she pulled up to a intersection where there was a traffic light, woods on both sides of her car. She said the inside of her car lit up like daylight. It was a bizarre light, unlike anything you've ever experienced. She could hear this humming noise, and the whole car was vibrating. All of a sudden, from her right, this creature came out and pounced on the hood of her car and was peering at her. I got the goosebumps, peering at her through her windshield. She got her wits about her and tramped on the gas from the car taking off. This thing rolled off the hood. We went and talked to her, took pictures of the hood of the car. There was significant damage. She experienced something. I said, well, can you describe what it was that you seen? She said it was this ungodly, horrifying, hairy creature that had deep red, piercing, glowing eyes. She said when it looked into the windshield, I could feel its eyes piercing through my very soul. And she said, it scared me so bad, I can't go out after dark anymore. I keep in contact with them. They were good people, husband and wife. They were doctors, very prominent people. It traumatized her that bad that does not go out after dark.
Wow. Do you think it was a juvenile Bigfoot?
That's a good question. More than likely, a good probability. I know the area she is talking about, they have had multiple Bigfoot sightings in that area, but they've also had multiple UFO sightings as well. And ironically, you would be surprised the amount of reports that we get that start out as a UFO sighting, followed by a Bigfoot sighting, or a Bigfoot sighting followed by a UFO sighting. So that raises a question. Is Bigfoot some type of alien species? If you take Star Wars, how did George Lucas know to cast an alien creature known as the Wookiee? What did he know? And it makes you wonder, is there such an alien creature? Or is Bigfoot interdimensional? Is Bigfoot flesh and blood? Or mechanical skeletal structure with flesh and hair over top of it? There's a lot of speculation. There are a lot of unanswered questions, and a lot of it remains to be seen.
What about some of the psychological aspects of what's happening?
People often photography because of interplay and expectation and perception. If you go into the woods hoping to find something, your brain is primed to see something unusual. Add camera blur, add distance, add darkness, and you get images that look like unknown creatures. Also, the thrill of discovery triggers dopamine and a sense of meaning. Social validation plays a role. Sharing a cryptid photo on social media can first status. I got the shot. There's a lot of that. Moreover, there's a narrative comfort factor that everything is mapped and explained. On the flip side, memory is faulty. When you review a weird photo late at night, you might remember details differently and embellish them to make the image more compelling. Finally, a camera becomes a buffer. People feel safer snapping a photo than having direct contact, which lowers the threshold of claiming I caught something. Provide just enough distance and calm extraordinarily while it remains safe. So there's a lot to it. If you thought you captured a cryptid photo, would you go public or would you keep it secret?
I would go public in the sense that I would share it with the people that I know could appreciate it, but I wouldn't just post it on Facebook and say, look at me. What about you?
Well, I would definitely store it in a safe place. I would probably discuss it with members of our organization, like-minded people, because people are so quick to ridicule and scoff at you, make fun of you. I have people that I'll be at a restaurant and they'll be walking by pointing, oh, there's that UFO nut, or oh, there's that guy that believes in Bigfoot. What crazy nonsense. And it's hard to believe, but it happens. There are people out there that if you had ironclad concrete proof, they would still say, no, it's not real. It would have to depend on the situation. If we were up at Kinzu Dam and we had a face-to-face encounter with a Bigfoot creature, you could take absolutely astonishing, clear photographs and offer that proof. I might go to the media, but then is the government going to step in? There have been cases where people supposedly have the remains of a Bigfoot to have it confiscated by the government. There are cases where people have had astonishing, crystal clear photographs to find out that they told somebody that told somebody, and they come home and find that their home had been broken into and everything is gone. So, it just really depends on the situation.
Okay. Well, there's some psychological impacts too with this. And part of it is the fascination with cryptid photography shapes local culture and tourism. Towns with reported cryptid sightings often spin off festivals, t-shirts, photo hunting tours, and a lot of social media buzz, especially the Mothman Festival in West Virginia. But there's so many more. And this turns into an economic opportunity given the ordinary people a stake in the myth. And on a broader level, the ubiquity of cryptid images on social media fosters a communal sense of mystery and counter-narrative and just a different worldview of things. It creates a space where the ordinary person with a camera can feel like a detective, and that kind of will make the paranormal more real for everybody. Additionally, the rush to share cryptid photos feeds our culture's for viral content, and it blurs the lines between genuine folklore, what we call clickbait. So there's a sociological tension, believers versus skeptics, and communities who feel their legends are dismissed by outsiders, and the tagging of cryptid hunters as weird or fringe in the wilderness and in remote areas that has changed. People expect their phone might capture strange things that possibly changes how we behave in nature. Maybe going out and hoping for oddities rather than just having a peaceful hike.
Go ahead, Norm.
Go ahead.
Do you think the marketing side of cryptids cheapens the mystery or enhances?
I think it enhances it. It will raise awareness for kids, for example, that may not know about Bigfoot. They might be 4 or 5, but to spark that imagination for them is something that can be pretty cool. That they're broadening their world in that sense. So I think it's a kind of a cool thing. I think that it doesn't cheapen it. It enhances it. And I think that it's a pretty cool thing. I do.
When a small town hosts a cryptid weekend, does that make more or less likely to believe in cryptids and sightings?
I think it would be more likely depending on where it is. There's a couple of Bigfoot festivals that you and I attend that are deep in the forest. There's a main road that drives through, and there's the festival that's there, and there's a lot of sightings in and around those areas. I like to believe that there are things out there that we don't know about. If anybody is open-minded enough to say we're not all there is, humans aren't all there is, there have got to be things out there that are mysteries. There's things like the pyramids that are still mysteries. So what about the things that we just catch a fleeting glimpse of?
The field of the paranormal, the field of cryptozoology. Unfortunately, there are those out there that capitalize on it. There's a lot of money that can be made in this field. You'll have those types out there that have never been in the woods in their life, but yet they'll swear on their deathbed that they had a personal encounter with Bigfoot. The sad truth is, kind of takes away from the credibility of the true investigator, the true person that goes out and researches and investigates this phenomena. When I started doing this, I've had personal experiences my entire life. My primary interest is, of course, aliens. As the founder and director of the Butler Organization for Research of the Unexplained, I've broadened my interests because there are people that are experiencing Bigfoot, Dogman, reptilian. They're experiencing these things. We're talking real life situations. They are definitely experiencing something in their life. The facts are overwhelming. The information is overwhelming. I'm not in it for the money. I never was. I never will be. Although we can't live without money. My sole purpose is I feel the people have a right to know. And I want to bring as much truth and information to the public as I possibly can. That's my whole reason for doing what I do. If it weren't for you, Norm, This podcast wouldn't be possible with the information that we share and the topics that we discuss. Bring information to people that might otherwise not know this stuff, or possibly they're on the fence and don't know what to believe. The truth is out there, and eventually will come out.
When it comes to popular culture, movies and books, what are some of the examples that you can give about the cryptid?
There's a lot in pop culture. One of the biggies, the all-time biggies, you have the film The Mothman. That took place in 2002. It dramatized the Mothman sightings and the accompanying photographic and eyewitness proof. And again, these people definitely experienced something. And the photographs that they've captured and the evidence, it's overwhelming. Definitely something to this creature. As to what exactly, again, that remains to be seen. Is it interdimensional, an alien of some type? Hopefully, eventually, we will all find out. Another one in pop culture is the animated series, The Secret Saturdays. This series took place between 2008 and 2010, and it revolves around a family of cryptozoologists hunting unexplained creatures. Another one in culture is horror comedy films, Cryptids. This took place in 2003. Features vignettes built around stories of cryptid sightings and photographs. In podcasting, shows like Squaring and The Strange have episodes devoted and how photographic evidence is evaluated. Another one is the horror documentary TV series, Mountain Monsters. I used to watch that all the time. That's one that originated in 2013 and goes on today. Uses cameras, traps, trail cams to attempt images of cryptids. And then, of course, another one is literature. Many cryptid guidebooks collect photographic evidence of unknown creatures. For example, blogs and wikis like photographs that catalog images from around the world. Our friend that lives up near Kinsey Dam, Denny Vigilo, is constantly putting out trail cams. Some of the images he has captured are quite compelling. He has one where you have what looks like the head, very hairy head that is so close to the camera that it's all whited out. And then there's another one where it looks like this huge hand is examining the trail cam, trying to figure out what it is. And then there's also another one that he's captured of a very muscular, hairy arm. Absolutely not human. Is it a possible Bigfoot creature? In all probability, that's what it was.
So, of those examples that you just gave, which one of those give you the biggest shiver, good or bad?
I'm going to say definitely the Mothman. I've probably watched the movie. They filmed it in Katanning, Pennsylvania, because Katanning, PA, very close to what Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Richard Gere was the actor. I've watched it repeatedly. I'll probably watch it every chance I can. This creature that we've investigated here locally, the Shikora gargoyle, out of all the cryptids that I've personally investigated, the Shikora gargoyle creeps me out to no end. When I watch the Mothman prophecies, I think of the Shikora gargoyle. When I'm investigating reports of the gargoyle, it takes me back to the Mothman. For our listening audience worldwide, if you're familiar with the movie series called Jeepers Creepers, if you're not familiar with it or you haven't seen it, there's 3 movies. Check it out. The first one is actually the best. That's what this Shikora gargoyle reminds me of. If you watch Jeepers Creepers, and I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you get a chance to watch it, give us some feedback. Let us know what your thoughts are. Check out Norm. When he does the editing here, he'll be putting some pictures up that you'll be able to see in the background. Let us know your thoughts. I'll be curious to find out. How about you, Norm?
Probably Mothman, but I didn't know it was filmed in Katanning.
Yes.
That's where I camped. Now when I'm there by myself, it's going to be a little different. It's always different. Camp with people and there's a bunch of people around, but when you're out there by yourself, it's a whole different feeling, and you can hear a lot of strange things in that area. You know what area I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nuts. You can hear things in the water. You can hear big trees being cracked. It's just crazy. But let's talk about a conclusion here. Let's wrap this up because we're well over an hour and 15 at this point.
Oh,
And
wow.
let's talk about blurry images, flickering flashlights and swamps. Whether you're firmly in the it's all hoaxes camp or you're leaning towards it is out there, the idea of cryptids captured on camera reminds us that the unknown might just be one click away. Keep your phone charged, your trail cam ready, and your mind open, because whether you get a fuzzy silhouette or a rustle in the bushes, you are part of the story now. If you've ever snapped a weird photo, heard a snapping twig behind you, or you believe you've peeked into the hidden world of the unseen, write us. Share your image, your story, your moment of maybe magic. The more we look together, the more we might realize that the answer is yes, it's real. So let's figure it out. If you have anything you want to contribute to us, please send it to Dan or myself. Dan will investigate it. Dan's a really good investigator. So is there anything you'd like to say, Dan? Take us out.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you. We'd like to see your photographs. We'd like to hear your encounters. And don't be afraid of the unknown. Paranormal is more normal than we think. With the Shikora gargoyle and the Mothman out there, don't let the night scare you. Thank you for tuning in. We wouldn't be here without you. Stay safe and God bless. We'll see you next episode.
That's it. And thank you for being one of the thousands of listeners in 18 plus countries. We appreciate it very much.
In the still of night, where shadows creep.